Motorsport. Live.
When hearing the name Honda Integra, I suspect most of you will think of a car, about sports seats, about a VTEC engine, about a gearbox with short shifts, about an exhaust manifold, about whatever that is. However, I bet not many of you will think about a scooter or a motorcycle. Interesting piece of trivia. Honda VT250F was referred to as Integra, and that was before the Japanese manufacturers started making the car. But the car is now history, and Honda has this new Integra. It's a cross between a scooter and a motorbike. Let me explain. Honda makes two motorcycles and a scooter based on the same frame. They are the NC700X, NC700S, and the Integra. Carrying over from motorcycle, Integra has large 17-inch wheels and a chain. Now, 17-inch wheels are good because, unlike other maxi scooters with 13 or 14-inch wheels, Integra rides better across uneven surfaces. It also brakes better on a wet surface. Larger wheels are more difficult to lock up, so it's safer. The chain is a bit of a hassle because, like in a motorbike, you have to remember about its maintenance. The Integra also has a gearbox out of a motorcycle. Instead of a CVT, which is common for scooters, here we have a double clutch transmission, which Honda used before in bikes like the VFR. It would be great if the Integra had a luggage compartment like big scooters, but it has a tiny little thing here, which is good enough for a brain cap, but not for a full-size helmet. That's a pity because Honda SWT600 or Suzuki Burgman have enough space under their seats to fit a weekend bag. Here you have to make do with a top box, which Honda in Poland includes as standard, or optional panniers. By the way, the top box is not very big either. You can either fit a jacket in there or a helmet. And this storage here, I mean, it barely fits a mobile phone, and mobile phones are only getting bigger these days. So, it's not looking very good, is it? There's nothing to write home about in terms of legroom either. I'm fine. However, I gave this scooter to a friend of mine for a test drive. He's 6 foot tall, and he was complaining how his knees were touching the fairings. Of course, he could have moved back, but then he would have to lean forward to actually reach the handlebar. This is a 2-cylinder 670cc engine. It works with a double clutch transmission. Now I suggest you leave it in automatic. However, should you like to drive a bit more aggressively, you can put it in manual mode and then change gears with buttons which are by your left grip. Speaking of left grip, this is a scooter, so the front brake is also by the left grip. Good news for all of you who complain how maxi scooters are too heavy and too difficult to maneuver around town. Well, Integra is heavily based on a motorcycle. It's like a small motorcycle, so it's easy to get around in traffic. And in the open road, it will easily do motorway speeds. By the way, the manufacturer promises it will do an impressive 78.6 miles to the gallon. Integra is a strange blend between a scooter and a motorcycle. For the way it rides, I can turn a blind eye to the lack of practicality. However, the price is a bit of an issue. In the UK, this thing is seriously overpriced at £7,500. In Germany, it's better because it costs around 8,200 euros, well below Honda's own SWT600 scooter, and Suzuki Burgman for that matter. Honda says Integra is supposed to compete with Yamaha T-Max and BMW's new pair of scooters. If you're in the market for a scooter, fine. However, for me, Integra is much more a motorbike than a scooter, and I cannot overlook the NC700 with DCT for €1,000 less. And it will have a proper storage compartment as standard.